This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, excuse what you see down towards the bottom of the screen. I'm going to have that changed in just a moment. They do not play the Memphis Grizzlies tonight. They play the Milwaukee Bucks. That'll be changed in just a moment. We're going to get that fixed. But the Knicks play tonight versus the Milwaukee Bucks at 7:30, coming off of a big win versus the Detroit Pistons. I don't know. I'm saying a big win because the Knicks needed to get that win last night. You know what I mean? There's no way you could take a close loss to Portland and then take a close loss to Memphis and then come back and lose to the Pistons. You know what I'm saying? And then fall 3 games below 500. It just wasn't going to be right, and it couldn't happen. It didn't happen. The Knicks won by 30, scored 140 points last night, led by Julius Randle with 36. Tony, I know we talked about, you joined me last night. We talked about the game last night. Just real quick, what are your initial thoughts before we even get into all the matchups and all that stuff? What are your initial thoughts about today's game versus the Milwaukee Bucks?
I mean, it's important, and the reason, let me just to backtrack a little bit. I think it was a big win. We won by 30.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have those 2 games prior and then squeeze by the Pistons, which we did not. You know what I mean? We ended that game early, and our starters got to rest. So all that is why I say it was those were big things, because we needed them to be fresh for tonight. So going into tonight's game, I think it's good to have that motivation, or that try to keep that ball rolling. To come off a good win. It's not even like you had much time to think about it or sleep on it, and you get ready for the next one. And hopefully they energized and ready to go from the jump.
And what you just said right there, that's what I like about this back-to-back situation. You know what I'm saying? Now, when it goes opposite, I don't like it. But it's going our way this time. The Knicks got a nice win. You know what I mean? And you can continue that energy. It's easy for that energy to flow from one game to the next. You don't have that break in between. You know what I'm saying? Now, that actually hurts you. It can hurt you when you lose. You know what I'm saying? And then now you move right into the next game on a back-to-back. You know what I mean? And it's like, all right, we still got this negative energy from the game before. But now you're coming into this game with a lot of positive energy. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully, at least the first quarter, right? You can bring that same positive energy into the game. After the first quarter, adjustments, all that kind of stuff takes place. You know what I mean? That positive feeling and energy kind of goes out the door, positive or negative. You know what I mean? But the Knicks at least can come into the game with that type of positive energy and hopefully be able to start off strong. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be important to start off strong against the Bucks. If you get down early, it's going to be almost impossible to get back into the game, in my opinion, with this basketball team. Excuse me. They can do it offensively. They can do it defensively. They're just a tough team to deal with. 14-5 on the season, and they're looking every bit of it. You know what I mean? What's your initial thoughts of Milwaukee?
That they go into the finals.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like, they're a tough team, bro. Like, even You got Middleton who hasn't played yet, but everybody else is kind of stepping up or fulfilling a role,
Mm-hmm.
and that's one of the best things about that team. I think it's like everybody kind of knows their position, knows their place. You know what I mean? There's nobody questioning, or what do I got to do? And then beyond that, they get opportunities to contribute more than they necessarily would at full strength. You know what I mean? And then they do that from the bottom guy on the team to the middle guy to the top. Everybody performs and does their role.
Yeah, and you know what I mean, and that's always the mark of a good team. People know exactly what it is that they're expected to do, and then they go out there and just be, a star in their role. I talk about that a lot. I forgot who I heard that from, but just being a star in your role, and when you win, it's easy to just focus on being a star in your role, right? When you're losing, now you feel like, well, I can do more. You know what I mean? Um, obviously the Milwaukee Bucks are winning and have been winning for a while, so everyone's content with being a star in their role. And then you get other people that want to join that team and say, well, I'll play my role over here. One thing that I take from this team, they're tough defensively. You know what I mean? Tough and scrappy defensively. They got, like in the starting lineup right now, Drew Holiday, Javon Carter. These guys, Drew Holiday can score the ball too, but he's also a tough, scrappy defender. Javon Carter is not much of a scorer. I think somewhere around 9.8 points per game, but he's a tough and scrappy defender that's going to get after you. And, it obviously concerns me, with the Knicks. They played free flowing last night. I think 31 assists or something like that. But it's not going to be the same tonight. You know what I mean? And can they battle through the aggressive defense? You know what I'm saying? Be able to score through aggressive defense, be able to execute through aggressive defense tonight. Because the Milwaukee Bucks are going to get that kind of defense. You know what I mean? We'll see. We'll see how far they've come. You know what I mean? And if they can do that tonight against the Milwaukee Bucks. They got to be able to protect the ball, not turn the ball over, et cetera, et cetera. What are you about to say?
Hey, just to elaborate on that point though, like take a guy like Brook Lopez, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who was early in his career. I don't know if you could consider him a star throughout the league, but he was a star for his team, right?
Right.
On the Nets. Big offensive numbers. Pardon the rain, it's raining crazy out here.
Yeah, here too.
But then he goes to Milwaukee and modifies his game, sacrifices his offense, becomes a pretty good defender, right? Changes his game from inside to outside shooting, adds that. You know what I mean? Like things like that. That's not an easy accomplishment, and especially for individuals, to come from one role to take a step down and sacrifice your game, but for the betterment of a team, and then you win championships. But that's how you win championships.
But that's
You
how
know what I
you
mean?
right. That's how you do it. No doubt. That's how you win championships. Now let's take a look at the team comparison, ladies and gentlemen. The New York Knicks are 10-11 on the season. The Milwaukee Bucks are 14-5. All right. Of course, they are second right now in the Eastern Conference, I believe. Am I right about that, or am I wrong about that? Let me check real quick. I'll get that up as I'm going through. The Knicks are averaging 115.8 points per game, right? 116 points per game for the Knicks. Listen, I'm going to take that all day long. It's about the defense now. You know what I mean? Now they got to get the stops that we're asking them to get. And yes, Milwaukee is number 2 in the Eastern Conference behind the Boston Celtics, who are 17-4. But 115.8 points per game for the Knicks. They shoot 46 point. They grab 46.1 rebounds, 24.3 assists, 7.3 steals, 4.8 blocks. The Knicks are turning it over at 13.7 turnovers per game. They're shooting 45.8% from the field and 32.3% from three, 80% from the free throw line. The numbers for Milwaukee are not much different offensively. As a matter of fact, the Knicks may be, a tad bit better numbers wise, but they got a guy that can get it done. You know what I mean? And Giannis, 112.5 points per game for the Bucks. They grabbed 48.6 rebounds, 24.5 assists, 7.2 steals, 6.4 blocks, 15.3 turnovers. The Bucks shoot 45.7% from the field. They shoot 35.2% from three and 71.4% from the free throw line. Basically, these two teams are even. The Knicks average a few more points. Milwaukee shoots it better from the three-point line. But they're even offensively. Numbers-wise, let me say that. I don't want to say even. Offensively, numbers-wise, as far as, having the better player, obviously they got, maybe the best player in the league on their team. So there you go. That makes a big difference in and of itself. You know what I mean? Looking at, the Knicks and Milwaukee played not too long ago, right? And in the previous matchup, that the star power showed, the Bucks won 119-108. They won the board 60-54. The Knicks only 19 assists. That's that tough defense I'm telling you about. 23 assists for Milwaukee. 8 steals and 8 blocks for Milwaukee. The Knicks had 6 steals, 5 blocks, 12 turnovers for the Knicks. Let's get to the shooting percentages, though. Both teams, neither one of them really shot well. The Knicks 39.8% from the field, Milwaukee 38.5%. The Knicks 34.3% from three, Milwaukee 28.9% from three. Right, Milwaukee shot 81.5% from the free throw line. The Knicks 68.8%. It came down to the Knicks. Milwaukee had Giannis, and the Knicks didn't. That's what it came down to for me. Giannis almost had a triple double. He wasn't the leading scorer, but or let me just say he didn't score out. He didn't score crazy. He didn't score crazy, but he almost had a triple double. All right, in that game, Giannis had. He didn't. He had 30, so I guess he scored what he averages, right? He had 30, 14 rebounds, and 9 assists. He was the leading scorer. I didn't mean to say he wasn't the leading scorer before. But 30 points, 14 rebounds, 9 assists. But they had even scoring throughout the game, across the board. Grayson Allen had 17, Brook Lopez 14, Javon Carter 14, Jrue Holiday 16, Bobby Portis had 12, George Hill had 12. Even scoring across the board. You know what I mean? For the Knicks, RJ Barrett had 20, Randall had 14, Evan Fournier had 11, Brunson had 13. Didn't really have that great of a game. He only shot 30% from the field and 25% from three. Emmanuel Quickly had 14. Obi Toppin had 11. Derrick Rose had 12. I mean, they had a lot of guys scoring. They didn't have a guy that can, really dominate the game. You know what I mean? We'll see if Julius Randle can, I don't want to say dominate, but he was the best player on the floor last night versus Detroit. Let's see if he could be the second best player tonight versus Milwaukee. You know what I mean? Because for the Knicks, they have all of their rotation players are healthy, ready to play for the Knicks. For the Milwaukee Bucks, Serge Ibaka is out, Kevin Middleton is out, two of their primary players. So, looking at all of that, Tony, all right, you know what we did in the previous matchup. You know what the season numbers are. What do you need the Knicks to do? We're gonna get into some matchups and stuff too.
I think we need I don't want to say historic, but we need to be very efficient from the 3-point line, and I would think we need a lot of threes tonight. You know what I mean? Or a lot of attempts, but efficiency. So like 40 plus three-point shots and shooting it efficiently. You can't play below the rim against this team. So we got to play above the rim. We don't have many above the rim guys. You know what I mean? Mitch, I think we have to utilize him above the rim. Obi, maybe Sims if he gets any time, but Randall, RJ, I mean even Brunson, these guys, our three best guys, aren't above the rim guys, and the block shots is like what killed us late in that last game, against the Bucks. Lopez swatting stuff, onto Takubo swatting
Right.
stuff. You know what I mean? So I think if we're gonna attack the rim, being that there's such a good rim protecting team, we have to attack the rim above the rim and try to utilize, get them in foul trouble. And that's another part about that, because our bigs aren't necessarily good free throw shooters. Like the guys who play above the rim aren't really that great at the free throw line. So it's like it's a catch-22. I think we really gonna have to be efficient from the three and kind of win that battle.
Mm-hmm.
But when we're attacking the rim as much as you can, you got to try to go above these guys. You can't go through them. They're built to block shots.
Yeah, they're big, right?
Long.
Brooke Lopez is 7 foot. Giannis is like 7 foot. You know what I mean? I mean that poses a problem in and of itself, because Mitchell Robinson is 7 foot, but Julius Randle is 6'8". You know what I mean? So when you're talking about that matchup between your power forward and center, that's an issue right there, because they just have a lot of length, and the ability to impact you defensively. Even if they're not blocking shots, making you change shots. Because of that length there. That definitely poses a problem for the Knicks. They're not a great shooting team though. And they can be inefficient at times, but they got the defense to make up for it. I think that's one of the big, probably the biggest thing with them. They got the defense to make up for it.
And limit the fouls. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you beat, I hate to say it, but if you beat, then you got beat. Don't add fuel to the fire by making it an N1 or
Right.
getting in the penalty.
Right.
And then now tic-tac fouls is leading to 2 points.
Right.
That, what I mean, out on a perimeter where nobody was even doing nothing. So limit, stay out the penalty.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I won't even say limit, just stay out the penalty. You know what I mean? Because those are the fouls that hurt you. You know what I mean? And N1s. So if you're gonna foul him, make sure he don't get the N1. And then just stay out the penalty. Make sure if they at the line, it's based off of a shooting foul and not off the penalty foul.
Yeah.
Because you can't give them easy things. If you make it tough for them, it could be a game for us.
Right.
You know what I mean? It could be a back and forth.
Okay.
But if you start giving them these easy ones, free throws, you know what I mean, from being in the penalty, fouls on the perimeter that when they weren't even attacking, just reach-ins and stuff, all that stuff starts to accumulate. And then by the end of the game, that might be what sways it one way or another.
Yeah, no doubt. My team needs to hear that, man. I mean, we get kind of aggressive defensively, and my girls were they were banging them other girls around last night, banging them around. Just, a couple of times, the girls is on the floor holding their head, holding their leg. The ref stopped the game one time. I was like, wait a minute, you're not supposed to stop the game. I understand she's laying on the floor, but we were on a fast break. You stopping the game? What's going on? And then she gets up right after he blows the whistle. Like, we had like a 5-on-3.
You could have used that 2 points.
Definitely, without a doubt. You know what I'm saying? We could have used that 2 points big time. lost by 13 last night. Looking at the projected lineups, ladies and gentlemen, again, for the Knicks, their rotation players are healthy. For Milwaukee, Serge Ibaka's out, Kevin Middleton is out. But the projected starting lineups for the Knicks, Jalen Brunson, Quentin Grimes, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson. For the Milwaukee Bucks, Drew Holiday, Javon Carter, Grayson Allen, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and then Brook Lopez at the center spot. All right. That's a defensive lineup right there, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse my dogs in the back. I don't know what they're barking at, bugging out for no reason, probably, but that's a defensive lineup that you see on there on the floor for the Milwaukee Bucks. You know what I mean? A defensive lineup. Looking at the defensive matchups, I think they'll probably go with Grimes on Drew Holiday, Brunson on Carter, RJ Barrett on Grayson Allen, Randle on Giannis, and Mitchell Robinson on Brook Lopez. Tony, any thoughts about any of these matchups?
I hope we can keep Giannis as much on the perimeter as possible. But I think that is the matchups, like the, position for position. I don't think there's any switches in that. So yeah, it's a tough matchup all across the board.
Yeah, it's tough matchups. You know, I put Brunson on Carter instead of Holiday because, Drew Holiday scores a little bit more. I figured, you would match him up with Grimes. Javon Carter doesn't really score as much, so, you probably match him up or match Brunson up with him. And then, the rest kind of takes care of itself. You know what I mean? I do think you'll see Mitchell Robinson switch off on Giannis a little bit, but it's not something that I want to do frequently, right? Because, or I don't want to say frequently, you don't want to do it a lot. You don't want to get Mitchell Robinson in foul trouble, right? Because you need Mitchell Robinson out there on the floor to help protect the rim. And, you start getting him on Giannis playing too many minutes, he's going to pick up fouls easy, in my opinion. So I think at times he does a good job, but it's not something that I think you do all game long. You know what I mean? Because, Mitchell Robinson, he has decent enough footwork defensively, but I don't think it's that good where he's going to be able to be with Giannis the entire game. You know what I mean? You do it in short stints. You do it sometimes and trying to maybe, maybe you want to put a little bit more length on one of these other guys out there or something like that. Maybe you do it then, but, you're not trying to do that the entire game. But these are the defensive matchups that I have, ladies and gentlemen. Grimes on Holiday, Brunson on Carter, Barrett on Allen, Randle on Giannis, and Robinson on Brook Lopez. All right, as far as the benches, Milwaukee has a tough veteran bench. George Hill, Wesley Matthews, Connaughton, Norwa, Bobby Portis, right? And these guys, in the last game, Bobby Portis had 12 points and 12 rebounds versus the Knicks. George Hill had 12 points, 4 rebounds versus the Knicks. And Norwa didn't really play much. Wesley Matthews didn't play much. Connaughton, I don't think he played last game. He didn't play last game versus the Knicks. So, but they have a strong veteran bench. The Knicks, Emmanuel Quickly, Derrick Rose, Cam Reddish, Obi Toppin, Ihart. That's what I'm expecting, who's going to get minutes off the bench tonight. The Knicks bench is averaging 37.9 points per game, 19 rebounds. Milwaukee's bench, 32.4 points and 18.7 rebounds. All right, both benches are pretty high in ranking as far as bench rebounds. All right, the Knicks bench, 8.7 assists. That's, pretty high as far as ranking. The Knicks bench shoots maybe a little bit better, 44%. Milwaukee's at 42%. They both shoot at about 32% from the three-point line. So I'm expecting the bench is going to be, they'll duel it out. It'll probably end up being even as far as the bench play is concerned. What do you think, Tony? I mean, I don't think the Knicks. I don't think we win the bench battle.
I'm banking that we do. I think that's another area that we're gonna have
Think
to
so?
try to exploit. Yeah, if
Yeah,
we're gonna have to try. We got to win certain areas.
that's what I'm
You,
saying.
you
We
know what I
got to.
mean? Like,
I mean, I agree. We got
so
to win certain areas. I don't know how many of them we can win with this team. That's the issue.
I mean, I would. So you think which one do you think is more likely? Like that's what I
Well,
mean. We get
I don't see us winning the battle of the starters for sure. There's a
so the,
chance we can win the battle of the bench. My concern is that the bench I think is really good defensively too. Their bench is really good
mhm.
defensively. You know what I'm saying? And they have like it's just a veteran bench. They know what to do. George Hill's been a starter. Bobby Portis has been a starter before. Wesley Matthews has been a starter before. On other teams. When you look at the Knicks, D Rose obviously has been a starter. I guess Cam Reddish has started before in Atlanta, but the only one who has that kind of grizzled veteranism from the Knicks team is Derrick
Zero.
Rose. These
Yeah.
these guys know how to get it done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're
And,
not
and,
gonna make
and
mistakes, but I mean, and they all potentially can have like a breakout game, but I feel like all of even our young guys, our bench that aren't veterans could potentially have
they
those
could,
type of
they
those
could,
type of games as well against them. Hill is good, but he's way past his prime. You know what I mean?
right?
So that's the way I look at it. Like those guys, Portis is probably the most dangerous on a consistent basis. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, but everybody else, you know what I mean? Like they're gonna have to win with veteran savvy, with experience and things
And
of that nature.
right,
You know
but
what I
but
mean?
but see that's where I think they can win with that because I think George Hill
Mm-hmm.
is probably the engine of that unit, not scoring wise and this and that, but just being that having that veteran mind. If
No,
there's going to
I
be
agree.
something that the Knicks win, it would be this though, I guess. Right? This would
That's
be where they would have to get they would have to win this battle for sure to make sure that they won something because the possibility is there. Right? They
and
average more
that's
points than
what I
them.
was saying.
Right? They average 5 more points than them. They can rebound the basketball. They should have more speed, more
More
energy,
athleticism,
more athleticism.
athleticism.
You know what I'm saying?
So that's
Um,
what I'm banking on. You know what I mean? As compared with the starters. Starters, I just want y'all to play even. You know what I mean? Play even, and you know what I mean, or just don't get killed. And then hopefully our bench could actually win us the game. That don't mean we closing with the bench, but I'm saying that you know what I mean. Their
well, yeah,
efforts might be the reason.
right. I mean, we
You know,
definitely ain't closing because our bench ain't they can't they ain't dealing with the start with Milwaukee's starting group. Now maybe quickly is out there, with the starters to close the game if he's having a good game, or maybe Reddish is out there if he's having a good game. But you're not putting that, definitely ain't putting that entire unit out there. You know what I'm saying? Obi on Giannis. Now let me ask you, iHeart. I have iHeart right now coming off the bench, but we were having a discussion about Jericho Sims. Jericho Sims, you talked about
matchup wise.
athleticism, playing above the rim,
Mm-hmm.
right? He's a guy that can do it. Why
Mm-hmm.
not throw him out there and
Mm-hmm.
let him play?
Tonight would be the day that you use him because of who he is. You know what I mean? Not like I mean, I don't know if Tibbs does this, but in my theory of situational, this is a
The
situation
situation,
where
right?
you know what I mean, where we can use him probably a little bit more than Hartenstein, especially considering Hartenstein hasn't been hitting his shot. Like if he was shooting 36% from three, you know what I mean, and on a consistent basis, then I would say, well, no, we could use him because now he could bring Lopez away from the rim. You know what I mean? Because that'd be the problem. Lopez and Greek Freak both be on guarding the rim. You know what I mean? And we don't have a guy that can bring them away from the basket.
Right.
So, or at least Lopez away from the basket.
Right. And see, that's the one. That's what they have that
Mm-hmm.
that can open up the floor for
For
Giannis.
Giannis. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Lopez can spread the floor, so can Bobby Portis.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Makes it tough. But I agree. I think that here's when you can really utilize Jericho Sims' athletic ability. You know what I mean? And you may even say, hey, we're gonna put him on Giannis for a couple of minutes if you need to.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Because he got that strength too.
yeah, and just like every other team, Giannis is probably going to play some with the bench, right? You know what I mean? Most teams have some of their starters play with the bench a little bit every once in a while. Giannis does frequently. You know what I mean? And in that situation, who's guarding Giannis? I think in the last game, we seen Hartenstein on Giannis a couple of times, and I was like, what are we doing? Why? Are y'all bugging? Like, what's going on? Why are you putting Hartenstein out there? So, yeah, I think that Jericho Sims could have an impact in that way. You know, definitely think he can. Ladies and gentlemen, I just put a link in the chat. Make sure that you check it out. If you want to join us in DC on January 13th for the Knicks versus Wizards, make sure that you fill out the form so that I can contact you when those tickets are available. We're trying to get a sense of how many people want to attend and are committed to buying the tickets so we can get this thing done as soon as possible. So make sure you fill out that form. All right. Kevin Bergen said that Cam should be on Giannis. What's your thoughts on that, Tony?
No.
I agree. I think Cam is too small.
I mean, yeah, he's not gonna be able to, even if his defense is A1, is not gonna keep him from getting to the rim. So what happens then?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think Giannis will just, okay, you putting Cam on me, I'm gonna post him up. And score that way. I just don't think he has the strength to deal with Giannis. My opinion. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, the projected starting lineups: Jalen Brunson, Quentin Grimes, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson. For the Bucks, Drew Holiday, Javon Carter, Grayson Allen, Giannis, and Brook Lopez. Defensive matchups: Grimes on Holiday, Brunson on Carter, Barrett on Allen, Randle on Giannis, and Mitchell Robinson on Brook Lopez. Obviously, you'll see, some switches and all that kind of stuff. All right, so you'll see different matchups throughout the game. And for the bench units, the Knicks, Emmanuel Quickly, Derrick Rose, Cam Reddish, Obi Toppin, and iHeart, maybe Jericho Sims. And then for the Bucks, George Hill, Wesley Matthews, Pat Connaughton, Nuora, and Bobby Portis. All right, the Knicks have just about everybody healthy. The Milwaukee Bucks, Serge Ibaka, and Kevin Middleton are out of the game. Not playing tonight. All right, key matchups. I think your key matchups, obviously Julius Randle and Giannis, key matchup. Quentin Grimes, or I guess you would say, Brunson and Holiday, they may not defend each other, but the production that they give is a key matchup to me. You know what I'm saying? Brunson's been on a tear.
If Brunson can attack the rim and use his footwork, you know what I mean? That might be a way that he can actually still score down there. But I think the mid-range and when he's in the paint, it's not going to be just those layups. You know what I mean? He's going to have to do those spin moves, those pivots, those, you know what I mean? He's going to have to really get in his bag to get baskets like 5 feet or less. Right. But his mid-range, he's going to have to take advantage of that tonight. Mm-hmm. I think that's going to have to be utilized. And then pick and rolls. to try to get these guys away from the rim a little bit, these bigs away from the
Yeah.
rim a little bit.
Yeah. Drew Holiday's averaging 17.5 points and 7.4 rebounds per game, while Jalen Brunson's been hot. Only 16 points last night, but he's averaging 21.5 points and 6.6 assists per game. And I meant to say 7.5 assists for Drew Holiday, not rebounds. So that's definitely a matchup. They won't defend each other. Grimes will be defending Drew Holiday, but that's definitely a matchup. Two guys who are going to be very important for their respective basketball teams. Obviously, Julius Randle and Giannis. Julius Randle had 36 last night. He's averaging 21 points and 8.6 rebounds per game. And he's shooting the ball well, 47% from the field and 34% from three. All right, he's averaging 2.9 turnovers per game. 2. All right, so he's doing a better job taking care of the ball. He has the ball less. All right, doing a better job taking care of the ball. Last night, Quentin Grimes finally had a good game. If Drew Holiday is guarding Quentin Grimes, he's a good defender. Could make it tough on Quentin Grimes. I think Drew Holiday.
They're putting him on Brunson.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, he's probably going to guard Brunson. But Javon Carter is a good defender, too. You know what I'm saying? He's a tough, scrappy defender, but they will probably put Drew Holiday on Brunson so that you have a good defender plus length on Brunson to try to cut that whole him facilitating and running the show, to try to cut that whole thing down, right? So that's something to watch out for. The last time Brunson played against Milwaukee, he was only 30% from the field, 25% from three. This was early, right? He's a little bit more comfortable in his role and what he does out there. So that's going to be interesting to see. If Grimes can have another good game and how Brunson plays against Drew Holiday's defense, RJ Barrett's got to win his matchup versus Grayson Allen. He's got to win that matchup.
Which means stay with your guy. Don't know wide open threes.
Yeah.
Stay you know what I mean? Exactly. That's the main threat from him.
Right.
Not saying he can't, get to the rim, but that's not his MO.
Right. Yeah. Listen, RJ, last game, he had 20 points, 5 rebounds. He shot 41% from the field, but only 14% from three. Last night, RJ had 16 points. He shot the ball well. Let's see if he can shoot the ball well tonight versus Milwaukee. You know what I mean? And then Mitchell Robinson and Brook Lopez. It's tough because Brook Lopez can spread, because he can shoot, he takes Robinson out the paint, which obviously can bother you because now it opens it up for Antetokounmpo to penetrate to the basket or Drew Holiday to penetrate to the basket and get buckets, But, as far as defending Lopez, Mitch can't get in foul trouble. Lopez, he can post up, he can shoot it from three. Mitch has to be ready to close out or be ready to defend the three. Don't foul him when he's, posting up.
The messed up part is, if Giannis wasn't on the floor, if let's say he was out this game, I'd have no problem giving Mitch the matchup. You know what I mean? But Mitch he's gonna help as well.
Right.
So he got to avoid the fouls on Lopez, but then you got to avoid the fouls. You know what I mean?
On
your help.
Yeah, on your help. And sometimes he's gonna be on Giannis. So
it's tough.
It's a difficult one for Mitch today. I'm expecting Mitch to get into some foul trouble today. So I think we'll probably see Sims regardless, because Mitch might get into some foul trouble tonight. Yeah.
Hope not, man.
I hope not, but I think it might be a good chance he does. Might be a good chance he does. You know what I mean?
Because even I like Mitch guarding Lopez on the perimeter. Like, I don't have a problem with that. But my problem is now who's going to help rebound. You know what I mean? Because if Randle is on Giannis and Lopez is on the perimeter, Randall's not going to be able to concentrate on the boards as much as focusing on keeping the board away from, boxing out Giannis or stopping Giannis when he got the ball. So it's going to be up to those wings and guards now to kind of get down there and get those rebounds, which the Bucks guards do.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see what the Knicks can do tonight. Can they get this win over the Milwaukee Bucks? What do you think, Tony? Knicks getting a win tonight?
If I'm guessing right now, I don't believe so.
Yeah.
But let's see how that first half goes.
Yeah, let's see how right.
And then I might be confident, like, oh, we could pull this out. But just for right now, a lot of things got to go right for us to win this game. You know what I mean? Like, it can't be, oh, we just need our big three to perform, and that's enough.
Right.
I think we need a collective team effort.
Yep.
Like one of those games.
I'm with you. I don't think the Knicks can. Well, I don't think they're good. I think they're going to play tight. I think they're going to play a good game. But I think Milwaukee's going to have too much. And they come away with the win. Hopefully, Giannis don't have a crazy monster game in the Garden. You know what I mean? And hopefully, Randall can have a monster game in the Garden. When's the last time he had a monster game in the Garden?
The thumbs down game.
We'll see. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to head up out of here. Appreciate your time. Again, I'm putting the link in the chat. If you're interested in joining us on January the 13th in Washington, D.C., while the Knicks take on the Wizards, please make sure you fill out the form so we can contact you. And, within the next week and a half to 2 weeks, we can get these tickets taken care of, ladies and gentlemen. All right? We should be a fun time. January the 13th in Washington, D.C. Should be good prices and all of that. I'll catch you tonight after the game, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good one. Be easy. Out.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.